Can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about what you do?
So my name's Lisa, and I am retired. Actually, been retired for about a year and a half.
How did you first hear about Andrew?
Oh my goodness. I listened to a podcast called Calling Out with Susan Pinsky, and she had three psychic mediums on as her guests, and Andrew was one of them. And I liked what he had to say. I liked his energy, his vibe, and so I reached out to him to make an appointment.
Okay, and was there something specific you were looking for?
I was in a 1 year relationship with somebody and was struggling with that and just not happy. And so I was going to probably ask him about that.
What was your first impression when you met Andrew?
Just he had good energy, high vibe, positive, just, yeah, seemed in tune.
Can you describe what that first session was like for you?
Well, he was very supportive. I had yet to realize that the person I was involved with was not a great person to me, and but he could tell, and he could tell that I still cared about this man, and so he was he was trying to be supportive and helping things to get better. And what could I do to do that? And some feedback about maybe what he's thinking and that kind of thing. So that was the first session. He was supportive of that relationship.
And through your other sessions with Andrew, was there anything specific that you can think of that came up that really surprised you?
Uh, well, yeah. As we continued to, after that first session, I decided I wanted to work with him as a life coach. And he began to reveal to me that he maybe wasn't so good for me and that I needed to um, set some boundaries in relationships that I had not done before, actually, my whole life. Um, and it just rung a bell with me. So yeah, that kind of surprised me.
So, working with Andrew, did you feel seen or understood in a way you haven't before?
Yeah, I did feel seen and understood. He took the time to, listen to me. So that's why I felt understood.
And when you were working with Andrew with the mentorship, was there any spiritual or energetic shift that occurred?
Yes. I mean, I began to practice certain things, certain routines by walking every day, getting in my steps and just getting healthier. And as I got healthier with eating right, drinking enough water, walking, the shift was spiritual. It was getting in touch with like my soul. What does my soul want? Which is what do I want? And yeah,
And did this help you make decisions differently or shift your perspective in a certain way?
definitely. I began to see the man that I was in a relationship with really see that that's not what love is. His behavior toward me, the things he would say and do. Um, I became stronger as an individual. I began to see the importance of loving myself and what does that mean and what does that look like when you love yourself. Yeah.
Was there any specific block or fear that was lifted?
Um, Blocks or fears. Yeah, it had to do with, well, it had to do with putting myself first for once in my life. And that was scary because I spent my entire life doing for others. I always called myself like a chameleon, um, being who I thought the person who I'm with, whether it's a boyfriend or any relationship or friendship, being the person I thought they wanted me to be. That's what I did my whole life. And so the shift now turned back on me. What does Lisa want? What is, you know, what do I want? What's good for, and what's good for me? So that was the huge shift. That was scary. Yeah.
And how long were you in the mentorship for?
Um, let's see, probably 6 months. I'm still continuing with it. I've taken a little hiatus because I have a lot on my plate with a home remodel and some things with my daughter and such. So I needed to take something off my plate. And, when you work with Andrew, for me, I did a weekly call and I have things to do, to accomplish, goals that are set. Helps me set them, and it became a lot on my plate. So I'm taking like 6 weeks off, but I will be going back.
Okay, and you mentioned how working with Andrew and made you feel like you were in the new power. Can you describe if that was a feeling that happened right away, or if it was a gradual thing, or if it almost just clicked for you one day?
Well, it was gradual. You know, it was a gradual shift to get me out of that doing for them mindset. And then at some point it finally clicked and I went, yeah, I don't want that anymore. I don't want that kind of person in my life, that kind of relationship. And I finally got it.
And how did your relationships with others change after the mentorship?
Well, I continued with setting boundaries for myself. An example is it takes time to get to know somebody. So don't just jump into bed with them. If you want a long-term serious relationship, which is what I wanted. And so that was one of the boundaries I set. And some others with it. And then I met somebody that was introduced to us that knew us both. And I had an impulse to go back to my old ways, but staying with him was very helpful because there were constant reminders. And so I stuck with the boundaries, and I'm actually in a relationship with this man now. And he's like the first man I could say I ever respected. It's like I took the time to get to know him, and he was ready to do the same on his end. And we're both calling each other, like, how would you describe him? And I go, he's like normal. And he said the same thing to his family. She's normal. And that may sound weird, but I guess when you're in relationships that aren't particularly healthy, you can't say that. So I have a really strong relationship now. Amazing. We respect each other. Um, it's really solid, and I'm like surprised, but not surprised because it was setting those boundaries and staying on track with them through Andrew's support. It was hard to stay on track because I have a lifetime of the same thing, choosing the same patterns and paths. So yeah, he helped me do that, and I'm in an amazing relationship now.
Would you say that your family and friends have also seen a noticeable change within you?
Yeah, yeah, I'm stronger. They can just see it in me. I'm more self-confident. I'm like who I was meant to be.
Would you recommend this mentorship to others?
Absolutely. Highly recommend it. Yeah. In fact, I got my daughter going with him now. She's making improvements. She's a little on the spectrum, high functioning autistic, and has had some tough times losing her father and COVID and all kinds of stuff, depression, anxiety, all that. So he's been working with her for about a month or more, and she's improving. I'm seeing changes, very positive changes in her. So definitely recommend him.
How has your life changed overall since the mentorship?
I feel like I am the person I'm meant to be without all those insecurities and weaknesses that cause me to make poor choices. I'm now stronger. I am the person I'm meant to be, and I'm living the life to me of my dreams. So happy, confident, calm.